Kawasaki KD80, just kick it. Kawasaki KM100, just kick it. Kawasaki KE100, just kick it. Welcome to the Kevin Bergeron YouTube channel. I'm your host, Kevin. If you like working on vintage two-strokes and how-to videos, I'm your guy. So welcome. And if you guys could do me one other favor, is hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so when I post a video, you don't miss out. I'll talk to you guys later. Let's get crack-a-lackin'. Hey YouTube, how you guys doing today? Kevin here, coming at you with another video. Yeah. Working on the Kawasaki Bayou 250. This was a, what do you call it there, freebie from a clean out that I did from Bill. And, well, today we're going to see if we can get this thing to kick, fire, fart, whatever. But we have some stuff to do. Last video, we fixed the pole starter and we cleaned the carburetor. So let's get this off here. I had a lot of wind come through the other day, and what do you call it there? It was bad. It was really bad. So we're just gonna take this stuff off and kind of see where we're at. Oh yeah, we had the electrical issue to deal with in the back there. I taped when I pulled that off, and so yeah, we have electrical to do, which we're going to fix that relatively quickly. And then we're going to see if this bad boy's got spark. We got to clean the tank out, mount the carburetor in the I'm not putting the air box in, but I am going to put the cone filter on just to see if we can get the kick. I got to put oil in it, and we'll go from there. So this thing has not ran in a while, just a hair over a year, I think he said. And then as you see, the tires are bald, and it had a lot of issues with the starting. So who knows what it was, and then it might be a spark issue. We don't even know. And then as he was pulling it over, the starter broke, and it just one thing led to another, and then it basically he's like, no, it's going, it's done. Put a fork in it. So I ended up cleaning out, and then he had this, and so he gave it to me for the channel. So let's get you guys in the stand. Let's get crack-a-lackin' and see if we can get some smoke out of this thing, get something to happen. All right, and but before I do, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button, the bell icon, so when I post a video, you don't miss out. And please give a thumbs up. Appreciate that. All right, let's get you guys in the stand and let's get crack-a-lackin'. All right, so let's blow you guys up here. So where I left off, there was these three. Well, sorry about the shade in the sun. I'm gonna be in the sun for a little bit here. There's these three connectors right here that are on there. The wires are decent. Nothing really super crazy with that. That we don't know where that goes. This has a little kink in it. Probably looks like they landed the seat onto it, but it's ground, so I'm not worried about it. I'm going to take all three of these and I'm going to cut them off right here. Okay. There, get all that crap wire off, you know. Alright, so now we got the wires cut back. What we're going to do is, remember that in the last video I had that solenoid switch and it had a pigtail with it, and then these are the wires. Now if you're looking at these wires, they got a red with a white stripe, a yellow with a red stripe, and a green with a red stripe, and none of these wires coincide with those wires. Okay, so I did a little, what do you call it there, cross-reference right here on my wiring, right here. So the red one we're not going to use, that's just a power wire, and that one's not being used on this particular bike. And then basically it's real simple. The red and white goes up to the white. Let me shrink you guys down here a little bit. So the red and white wire, this one right here, is going to go up to the white wire. So let's make that connection. wires. So the red and white, go into the red and white. Like that. Okay. Got the red and white to the red and white. We'll do a little tug test. We're good. Okay. Next off, we have a solid black wire. So we have a black wire is going to go to the green and the red stripe. So solid black to the green and the red stripe. Oh, these wires are really hard to place. There we go. Okay. That's going to go to the green with the red. Now the pigtail that I'm using is from a Yamaha onto this Kawasaki. And then last but not least, the black and yellow to the yellow. What the hell is going on with this thing? Either that or the really bad wire. Yeah, it's wire like rubber. There we go. Go up to the yellow. Okay. Tug test, all that's good. All right, now I'll be right back. All right, now I'm just gonna use my little hand torch and then heat shrink those. That just gives me a watertight seal. Let those cool for a moment. Then I'll get some electrical tape and make a harness. Okay, now before I tape this up again, I'm just going to go over my wiring one more time just to make sure I did this 100%. So red and yellow go to the black and yellow. Or yellow and black. Yellow and red, yep, to that. Black is going to go to the green and red, and the white is going to go, the red and white is going to go to the white. Okay, we're good there. All right, now I have that all done. Just going to take some tape, make it look somewhat decent. Okay. There we go. Looking pretty good there. And then I'm going to pull it off. There we go. Alright, so now we have a connector wired up for the new solenoid switch. Okay, so now we're going to replace one dead battery with another dead battery. Come on loose. Place like, why are you replacing a dead battery with a dead battery? I'll show you why in a second. This is a ES TX14 220 cold cranking amp, but the terminal is melted up top there. So I have another one that is a ESTX 14AH 220 cold cranking amp, and we're going to put this battery in its place that I can jump. But I got to blow all that crap out of there. Found the other bolt that was missing, so that's a good sign. Fuse down there. All right, let me get my air gun and blow that off. This battery is bad, but it'll take a jump, so we'll be able to jump start that battery when I go to do it. So that'll help. All right, let me blow all that crap out. I'll be right back. All right, so I got it all blowing out, and there was a whole bunch of fuses that kept blowing up, popping out of there. I mean, there's one right there is a blown fuse. So, all right, so now I'm going to put that battery in. Like that. That fits right in there, guys. It's good. Same battery, pretty much, but just taller. The other one's shorter and fatter, so I had to go the long way. So this is the correct battery for this. Let's see here. Will that reach? Nope. Yeah. I think we have this backwards. I think what he was doing was he had the... Yeah, I think he had the negative, the positive on the negative and the negative on the positive. I think that was his problem, because that wire that burnt up is a negative wire, and the wire right here has the positive end on it, because the black with the yellow is positive. So he had that on the wrong side. Yeah, he had that wired up absolute backwards. This one even has the little red, the black cap on it to identify itself. I don't know if this wire is going to be any good, but we're going to find out. Of course, I dropped it. Okay. Put that there, and now this is going to go up to the solenoid, not up to... Let me show you guys what I'm doing here. Okay, so on the wiring, he had this wire right here with the yellow. He had that going up to the negative, and he had the negative on the positive, and it was backwards. So that's why I think he's having some electrical issues with this thing. All right, let's see if I can get the other solenoid switch bolted, and let's see what we do. Alright, so I got the solenoid bolted down with the two wires. So the suspected wire right here that's positive is up to here. What do you call it there? And then we're going to see... Actually, that doesn't make sense. Why does that not make sense right there? Because if that was the case, that this lead right here would be a... it would only come on when that kicks on. So that's not right. So I'm suspecting that we have something backwards. Could he have been correct? He could have been correct. That could be a ground. Yeah. Alright, so it looks like he did have it correct. It looks like that was a ground, but I don't understand that black piece there. Yeah, because this right here would only come on if it had power. So that might be the system ground on this particular bike. Which could be green. Okay, all right. We're going to reverse it and put them back to the way he had them. And we'll try that and see what happens. I haven't plugged it in yet, so I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out the orientation of it. And now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't make sense. So if this is the ground right here, and that's the wire for the starter, that should be, which it is, that should be here, and then that should go up there to that. So if we can get to reach. We can get that to reach. All right, good. It's funny because sometimes on dirt bikes and stuff that the black wire with the yellow is a positive. In this particular case, it could be a negative. Alright, now put this onto this solenoid here. Okay, that looks right there like that. And now we're going to plug our pigtail in and see if anything happens. If it just pops a fuse or what the case may be. Okay, so there's that and that. Alright. And then we have, I'm going to hit the starter button and see if there's any power in this thing. Nope, nothing. Hello. There's, okay. Yep, there's nothing. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check to see if I have power on that battery. Use my test light with the... It's got a voltmeter on it. Yeah, 11.9. Okay, so we have voltage. Aha! That little wire is short. I got no voltage here. Nothing. So that little wire right there is bad. To that solenoid right there. Okay. Wasn't that just a poopy in the punch bowl? Oh, actually, hold on. We went the wrong way here, guys. I'm all over the place. Yeah, we got power to it. It's good. Check it on the wrong lead. Okay. Sorry about that. Alright. So now... I do have power. In order to check for power, you have to have one end on the ground. I'm tired, guys. It's been a late night. And with the extra hour sleep, I'm kind of groggy. Okay, so we have that and that. And then there's no click from the solenoid. So there could be something else going on. But don't forget the ignition is also bypassed. So we're going to leave that part for now. We're going to leave that the way it is. Because I suspect that right there is wired correctly. It could even be something missing here, who knows. But we're going to move on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check for spark, because if it's got a pulse, start, it's got a magneto. Okay? And no points in this. This would be CDI. But really what I care about is to see if it has spark. So if we got spark, we clean out the fuel tank, this thing should fire. Okay, spark plugs right here. Okay, and now we're going to have to use a spark tester and see if it has spark when I pull it over. Okay. We'll use one of my handmade custom tools. This is a spark tester right here. Where are you guys? Right here. And you can see it's got a dirt bike boot on it. And then I have a custom made adapter for these style coils. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put this like this, and if I have spark, that's going to light up when I pull it over. So I'm going to reach underneath and I'll put the decompression on. Oh, yeah, it's not staying up there. Okay, must be in a cycle. Alright, so now what we're going to do, check and see if we have ignition. Okay, so here we go. That's ignition on, I believe. Not really sure. Find out in a second. Alright, good. Reach over and pull it. Spark. Oh, there we go. You see that light flashing? Alright, so we have spark. Nice. We have ignition. That's a positive. Alright, while we're over here, I'm going to fill this this sight up right here until it's halfway full with oil, and I'm going to go grab some oil. Also too, before you click the starter over, you got to make sure it's in neutral, because these have a neutral safety switch. Alright, now let's see here, which I did that, I just left it out of the video. And the starter is not working. Oh, I had oil, it took a little bit. Let's see here. Nope, it just hit. It's tricking me. It's making it look like there's oil going into it when I dump it in, but then it goes right back down again and it's not leaking. So it fills up, and then when it comes down, it settles down. Alright, keep on oil in it. Almost like it was drained out or something. Well, it's all leaks. How's it all going? Can't be completely out of oil, can it? Oh, that's really weird. I put a lot of oil on this thing. Not seeing anything leak. Oh. Maybe. Huh. Damn. These don't even take that much oil. Alright, so I got it full now, guys. It took a lot of oil. Damn, that took a lot of oil. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to reconnect the spark plug. We know we have spark. Come on. And then hook that back up. Okay, we plugged in there. We're good there. Let's move on. Alright, so let's plug in the solenoid back in and see if the green light comes on for neutral, because the last thing we want this thing to do is fire up and take off on us. Especially if we have to bypass something. So, should have battery feels warm. Might be the sun, yeah. Alright, so the light's on, so that's a good sign. And then, about the start button will not work. Okay. So, disconnect that. Okay, we're good there with the ground. Alright. Don't know what's going on with that, but at least that thing's all set up there. And then, pull this back like this. That's the parking brake. Does that need to kick it on? Nope. Still got no sparkle up top there, no runo. The ground up there, so that's disconnected there. Okay, alright. Cool. So nothing there. All right, so now we're going to move on, and we're going to unplug that solenoid again, that pigtail connector there that I had. Put the carburetor on, and see if we can't get this thing to fire up. Just using the gum out right now to clean the slide. And then there's a groove on the slide. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not with the camera. But I'm going to take you down and I'm going to show you. Then I'm going to pause you guys and I'm going to put the carburetor on. Okay, so I'll show you this, guys. Let me shrink you down. Okay, so now here on the carburetor, you see that big bottom groove right there? Okay, that right there is for your idle speed adjustment. And then you see that long groove that goes all the way up the slide. Okay, that is what we need. And on the side of your carburetor is a little pin right there. See that pin? On the inside, I don't know if you can see it or not. There's a pin right there. That long groove rides on that pin on the bottom. Okay, and then the ramp, the first groove I showed you, is for the idle set screw, which is this one right here. All right, so I'm going to pause you. I'm going to put that on, and because I can't do that and show you at the same time, so I figured I'd explain it. So that's how that is. Okay, so I got the slide and the choke in, and I'm just going to take you along for the ride here. Put that in there. You want me to show you your slide goes up and down all the way, which it does. Okay, I got the fuel line, the brand new fuel line's on there, but it's not hooked up because I haven't got that far yet. And then over here, you can see very carefully, top of the carburetor, I have the top slide bolt nut tightened. I didn't put the hat on yet. And then this is the choke right here where it slides in. And make sure the choke works. So right up in here, there's a slide for the choke, which feels good. I can feel it moving up and down, and then the slide goes up and down when I hit that. So that's all good. All right, so we got oil in the bad boy. We got spark, so we're good there. And then the only thing left to do now is blow out that tank, get that tank cleaned out. Okay, get the tank cleaned out, and then we should be able to try to fire this thing. Let's get crack-a-lackin'. Now I already sucked out the fuel with my Mighty Vac, but what I want to do is blow out all the rest of the crud that's in there. So make sure this is the petcock is on reserve, if it has one. Reserve is straight up right there. Reserve goes this way, like this. I can't quite tell, so we're going to do it in every direction we can. Okay. See if we get any fuel out of it. Yep, there we go, there we go. Tank is nice and clean in there, guys. There was just a little bit of fuel. That fuel that came out was so nasty. When I sucked it out the first time, it was bad. It was just really, really bad. Alright, now I'm going to go flip around this way. Yeah. Okay, looks like we're good there. And then I'm going to dump a little bit of fuel in the tank and see if it comes out. Alright. We'll get the can. Alright, we got a little bit of fuel in there, not much, but a little bit. Now, to see if anything comes out that petcock down below. And I put you down reserve. Yep, okay, we got fuel. Alright, now, where's that new fuel line? Right here. I'll stick that on there. Alright. So I just hooked up the fuel hose. Now let's see what happens. Just gotta pick up some of my stuff so I don't go flopping all over the place before we do this. Alright. And I'm gonna put my cone filter on real quick just to have something on there to protect it. Okay. Alright, now like this. Okay, make sure she's in neutral by plugging this back in real quick. Okay, good. Green light's on. Choke is right here. I have a feeling, guys, that this is going to take a shit ton of starts, shit ton of pulls. But let me get you guys out of the way and see if I have the muscle or the oomph to do this. Okay, choke is on. That's on. It's in neutral. Whoa, Jesus Christ! That's compression. Holy crap! Hold on. Decompression valve there. Oh. The starter feels funky because that thing's all deteriorating. Alright. There we go with that. You know what, guys? Let's just try something here real quick. Let's see if I can't jump that solenoid real quick and see if the starter actually does work. No, I just tried it with this thing. The starter's burnt out. Alright, good. Great. Let me go get some gloves because I can't do this barehanded. Okay. There we go. Jesus. Wow. Oh my God. Yep, choke is on. Nope. Need to help it out a little bit here. I'm going to turn up the throttle on it and just see if that'll help it a little bit. Sometimes if you open up, it gets a little bit more air in there. Choke there. Decompression is, back on. When that decompression kicks off, this thing's a beast. Oh, whoa, whoa. All right. We have a first start. Now, we need to find out what we got to do to keep it running. I shut the choke off. She started, guys. She started. Oh, why did I do that? Why did that do that? There you go, okay. It's in neutral now, alright. I got nervous because it went out of neutral. Okay, alright, good. Good. Now, decompression, Dave already put that on. Then the decompression's on again, so we have fire. Okay. You need a little bit more throttle. So on the side of the carburetor where that slide is that goes up and down, that screw I showed you with that ramp, I'm actually tightening up that screw and it's bringing it up a little bit more to suck in more air. Okay, so now it's all cleaned out. I think the idle might have been too low. And we're going to have to keep doing this until we find out which one it is. Choke it. Choke. The choke is more like an Aricha. Alright, let's take that off. Give it a couple of hoots of this. Okay. Throw it back there. On. Okay. Alright. Come on. Nope. I don't think I have the oomph to turn this thing over, guys. There we go. Okay. Something's going on with that fuel system. It's not getting the fuel that's given to it. Alright. Because it starts on what I spray into it, but it's not starting on the choke or any of that, which is telling me it's probably an air leak. And even when it does start, it starts kind of low. Let me go grab a screwdriver and see if we can get that throttle up a little higher. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I actually wasn't recording. I just took the screw off the carburetor bowl and to see how much fuel was coming out. Nothing was coming out, so I took the line off. I just blew a little bit of compressed air into it to see if it would clear itself out, and it did. So I think when I had the carburetor apart, I think I actually stuck the float pin. So it should be, we'll see how it does now. Put the air filter back on. Okay, put my gloves back on. I was just trying to figure out what's going on with this thing, why it wouldn't go. So, and it worked when I sprayed fuel into it, but it wouldn't run on a clean carburetor. Might have to turn that throttle back down. Do that now. Turn the throttle down just a wee bit. Okay. If it screams, we'll just shut it off. But hopefully it don't come to that. Okay. Oh, that ran a little longer. Alright, let's try with the choke. Let's see if that'll help prime it up. It is kind of a chillier day out today too. Not like super chilly, it's in the like 40s, 50s. Alright, here we go. It's running on half choke right now. Get the popping. Okay, she's not liking that. So, got a little bit of a popping, which is telling me that chances are that the valves are out of adjustment on this thing, and well, probably hasn't been done yet. Popping could also be a, well, a few things actually, but it's popping out the carburetor, which is telling me that the intake valve is either slightly stuck, or it's, what do you call it there? Could be a mixture, it could be a jet in the carburetor, it's not quite right. Could be a lot of things. We're going to get into it, but oh Jesus, that thing has got some compression, guys. Right there, there's no choke. It is popping. And the idle's kind of high. Well, it definitely moved. Okay, so one of the other things that this could be is it simply could be a bad spark plug too. But I did notice it started to pop on the exhaust a little bit. So first things first, we're going to have to get the manual on this thing and adjust the valves correctly, which I'll do videos on that because that's the most important thing. So it has been used and abused clearly by just by looking at the bike, and I'm sure it has not had the proper intervals for the valve adjustment. Just by looking at it. So I think that that's going to be the first start to getting this thing to stop popping, is change the spark plug and do a valve adjustment. So we're going to be doing that on another video. But this, guys, is the first run, and yeah, that actually came out pretty nice. I don't know how hard it's going to be to restart after running like that, but let's find out. Neutral. Okay, so neutral now. That on. Brake on. Maybe choke. Oh, Jesus. yeah, it's going to be a battery start. And that's telling me that as well. So spark plug first, then we're going to go and do a valve adjustment, and then and of course the air box. So the problem is with some of these systems is in order for these bikes to run correctly, they need to have the proper air box, because it meters how much air travels through that carburetor. So oftentimes this one has a 115 jet. So oftentimes they flood it with air, and or you know, vice versa. They flood it with fuel and it has to match the air, and those cone filters just don't do it. So we're going to try an air box and see where that goes. Alright guys, I will talk to you later. Thank you for watching. I'm out!